back scratcher real quick. Scratch my back before we start. All right. All right. That's the start of the show. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Wicked Good Show. I'm your host, Dylan, DJ Clubberlang. I am joined by Brian, as always. Brian, say what's up to the people before we start yelling.
Yes. Hello, everybody. This episode will be brought to you by spite, anger, confusion. Also, we're mostly going to be talking about Discovery ruining HBO Max specifically.
Yes. Yeah. A lot of news. A lot to talk about there. There's a lot to take in. That's really kind of it's kind of unfolded in the past 24 hours. Started with Batgirl and that Scooby-Doo movie getting canceled, and it's really kind of spiraled out of control since then. Apparently, HBO Max is just like done.
Yeah. What the hell?
Something else. So, but we'll get to that. We do have some quick things to kind of go over. As always, though, I do like to check in. Are you playing anything good right now?
So I need to finish Pokemon Shining Pearl, because then I need to play Pokemon Legends Arceus, because in 3 months still, and they're putting another Pokemon game out. How am I supposed to keep up with this? Scarlet and Violet are coming out. I'm probably going to get Violet. Very excited for that. But that's kind of what I've been playing in my downtime. So the original Diamond and Pearl hit right when I was like pretending to be mature, like right when I got to high school, and I was like, no, I don't like Pokemon. What are you talking about? So I never played them. I like it quite a bit. I don't know if I don't know. Are you a big Pokemon guy?
I was when I was a kid. I still have Sword. I'm still playing Sword.
I thought that was great. A lot of people I don't know. People are fickle. I thought the new Sword and Shield were really fun. But some people like to complain, Dexit, all of that. But yeah, so I'm just playing through that so I can get to Arceus so that I can play Pokemon Violet when that does come out. They had today we're recording on the 3rd of August. They had not Pokemon Direct, but like Nintendo Direct, but specifically Pokemon. It has a specific name. It escapes me now, of course, where they showed off some of the stuff. There's a dog Pokemon that's like Doe, and his name is Fido. Very cute, very fun. Looking forward to it. But yeah, that's what I get going on. What are you playing?
It reminds me of everybody's out there on TikTok. Subscribe to Wicked Good Everything,
Please.
because one of Brian's funnier TikToks is of the Pokemon CEO naming off random new Pokemon.
Mm-hmm. That one got me the most. Well, all right. So we did a Boondocks video. That one has like 100,000 plus views on the main channel, and it's very positive. But like once you get to a certain number of views, people just start personally attacking you. So like very rude comments about me being fat, which like I know you don't have to let me know. But then, other than that, the video that got me the most hate was that video. People were so mad at me pointing out the names of Pokemon, and they weren't having it at all.
It's very funny, so check it out. And also, yeah, as big boys, those are the lives we live. That we put our luscious bodies on the internet, and so we open ourselves up to ridicule. It's part of the comedy.
Sometimes I think do they think that they're the first person to notice?
Yeah,
like they're like, oh shit, this guy's fat. Someone's got to tell him. It's got to be me. I have to be the one to let him know.
Yeah, they're doing you a favor.
Mm-hmm. One person was like, please go to the gym. I'm worried about your health. I was like, all right. I mean, fair, but didn't need to say that.
No, I haven't really been playing much anything new. It's the reason I asked because I was curious because I'm kind of like in a rut of like I have no new games to play.
Yeah.
I started playing Last of Us 2, which had like the HDR upgrade.
Right, because you get the PS5, so it must play great on there.
It looks really good. But no, I still play a lot of Fortnite. I'm trying to get good at Fortnite, not as good as I had originally hoped. I'm still trying to figure out my streaming with my PC. It's a fucking mess.
Yeah, we
I
gotta go
bought
through that.
really nice card, and I like cannot figure it out. It's the issue of converting from my PS5 onto the PC. capturing. It's because it's a stupid thing that Sony does with PlayStations. They make it like as hard as possible to capture game audio.
Mm-hmm.
And I play game audio through the mic and headset that I'm actually using to talk to you right now. I have like the Shure mic,
Mm-hmm.
and so I played through that, and there's like an issue where I would need like a splitter to plug in to my
Jesus.
to the capture card and to the controller. It's like this weird. I don't know. It's like an issue with Sony that they make it as hard as possible, which is why I haven't done it because I really wanted to stream more. But
Mm-hmm.
I really just been playing Rocket League and Fortnite. But I've been like kind of surfing the web. I can't. I think the next game that I for sure will play is God of War.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, I really hope the Harry Potter game comes out this year. I'm like every morning I wake up and I'm waiting for it to be postponed into next year, but it hasn't yet. They're still saying December 2022.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm really holding on hope because like it's been such a dead time for RPG narrative games too,
Mm-hmm.
and like Knights of the Old Republic was something I was really looking forward to playing. It's one of my all time favorite games on PC, and I was actually replaying it on the Switch for the first time probably since I played it on PC way back when, like 2003 2004. So that was a great nostalgia trip because I wanted to get caught up because I know that the new Knights of the Old Republic was going to be kind of like a full like remake remaster. So they were
Yeah.
going to be changing something. I'm sure it was going to be like the same overall story. And then obviously that got like canned out of nowhere. It went from being released this holiday season to all of a sudden they're saying that it's indefinitely put on hold and it's going to be at least another 3 years. Like that's not putting a game on hold. That's saying that you're going to completely redo a game. I don't know.
Yeah.
RPG gaming as a whole, I think, is an absolute mess right now. I feel like, and maybe I'm just misremembering my days as a young lad being able to play all these story games at once. But I feel like there's the market is really uh, just absent of
Mm-hmm.
any new games, and maybe I played too much too of games already out there because I also got like I got that new tier PlayStation Plus subscription.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it a shot for 3 months, and I upgraded it to the highest tier, so I get like all the games that they have available, and it sucks.
Mm-hmm.
There's really like nothing on there. A lot of the older games, like the PS2, the PS3 games, you have to stream. It's like how PlayStation Now works. So
Right.
you
Yeah.
can't even
Yeah.
download it. You're streaming it, and like that never looks good. I don't know. It's just a bummer. I'm like I really want a really good narrative game,
Mm-hmm.
and I can't get into any that I've tried. But so I started replaying Last of Us. I don't know. I'm kind of enjoying that.
Yeah. I mean, I always say that like The Last of Us 2 is like the best like video game. Like the amount of time and care and effort that goes into every aspect of The Last of Us 2 is absolutely astounding.
When you're not a incel neckbeard worried about playing as a buff woman and
I
eventually.
I mean I'm a big weightlifter, so I'm like fuck yeah, Abby. She's like goals right now. Like this is when you're like beating the shit out of the zombies with her. Nothing more fun than that.
I also just thought Abby's story
Yeah,
was the best part about that game. It
really
was
good.
wild, and it's why I love it so much is that it was the narrative that kind of turned Ellie into is she actually the baddie instead? Uh,
Yeah, it's a really great game, and like
the gameplay too was unbelievable. I will absolutely will not pay the full $70 to get the Last of Us remake,
I
but
think
the
that's
fact that they're
understandable.
putting the same engine into that was in Last of Us 2, I think
Mm,
is really cool. So I'll eventually like on sale for like
yeah,
$20, I'll give that a try. But I absolutely refuse to pay $70. So
I
yeah,
think
let's
that's very reasonable. Like,
uh yeah
I
yeah.
mean, I just played The Last of Us, the original Last of Us,
Mm-hmm.
in preparation of The Last of Us 2 not that long ago, and the remake they made for PS4 holds up like great. So if like you really want to play The Last of Us, you can just play that, and I'm sure the new version is great, but $70 is a steep price for something that came out in 2013.
Yeah, well, it's not as much of a cash grab as things like GTA and Skyrim were, but because they did fully rebuild it from the ground up. So I will give them credit. Isn't it crazy that it's already been 3 years since Last of Us 2 came out?
That is insane. I remember when it came out, I was like, all right, this pandemic sucks, but The Last of Us 2 came out. I'm just gonna play this, and then like it'll probably be over soon. And well, you
No,
know,
dude. Last of
now
Us
we
2
got another pandemic.
Last of Us 2 came out the year before the pandemic.
Did it?
Yes, yeah. It
Oh
was
my god.
uh June 19th, 2020.
So we were
Time
a couple months into it. We were a couple months into
Yeah,
it.
we were. I thought for sure it was 2019. I don't know.
I think I remember that because I started playing The Last of Us, like the remake for PS4 in March, like right when everything shut down. And I was like, am I preparing myself for the future of the world here? Like, am I going to have to learn how to make a shiv like they make in The Last of Us?
Wow, okay. Well, I'm glad the time's not flying by that quick then. I thought it was 2019.
For real.
Yeah, June 19th, 2020.
Mm,
Still 2 years. Wow, I didn't realize that was a COVID year
yeah.
when that came out.
No, no, no good.
No.
But hey, monkey. At least we have monkeypox to look forward to now.
Yeah, great.
So
Uh,
insane. We live in terrible, terrible timeline. Not the worst because like we haven't been destroyed by like nuclear war yet, but not great either. I have some complaints.
well, let's keep the positive news going.
Mm,
We got two quick stories, then we'll get to probably our most negative story of the day.
mm.
Starting out, Sean Watson only got 6 games. Spending 6 games, not very good. Obviously, you may touch on this at some point in your sports podcast, but I do kind of want to go over it now.
Yeah.
It is crazy. So the NFL is appealing the ruling that Sean Watson should be suspended for 6 games, and by that means, that they had a third-party arbitrator. I might just be throwing terms out there that sound familiar to this. I
Yeah,
think
it sounds right.
they're kind of like being like, hey, we'll put it on you to do a fair judgment. Don't put it on me, Roger Goodell, the Joseph Stalin of sports. But they're now appealing it, which is they're appealing it to get more games. So that's something that that is good. I do assume that the initial backlash that they got from universally from everyone about him only getting 6 games is crazy. I do think that it is important to note some of the backstory here, that in the end, the independent investigator, I'll go with that from now on. She was only able to interview 4 of the however many women that were victims.
24, I believe, are
Yeah.
actively suing Deshaun Watson, let alone how many other may be out there.
So she was only in the end able to interview 4 of the 25.
25.
In June he settled 20 of the 24 lawsuits he was facing.
Jesus.
One of the 25 lawsuits was dropped after a judge's ruling in April 2021 that the plaintiffs needed to amend their petitions to disclose their names. So the probably person just didn't want to be disclosed. So it's overall not great, because the people that weren't interviewed were people that were paid off and obviously clearly had to sign an NDA. So that is kind of like the reasoning behind the 6 games.
Right.
Is more so that he basically just violated conduct. Which is crazy because I tweeted yesterday he's only getting 2 more games than Tom Brady did for allegedly deflating a football. That's crazy. I'm not going to say kudos to the NFL for trying to push for a full season, but fuck him, fuck the Cleveland Browns. Anybody that's supporting him, fuck that. Incredibly talented, a guy that he's just like he's a pure predator. There's no other take about this. The guy was an attractive multi-millionaire star athlete on the rise. But when you get a sociopath that has predator behavior like this, you get a bad person. The guy was literally living the dream, had no reason to do this, but because he's probably such a sociopath, so sick in the head, such a predator. This is what he does. He now is only allowed to go to team mandated massages. So literally, he's like he can no longer seek independent massages, which is insane to say about an adult. That this dude is so sick that he's literally only allowed to go to team sanctioned massages, which at this point too that anybody in those massages are going to be forced to sign NDAs, things like that. It's disgusting. Fuck him. Fuck the Browns. fuck the NFL for still enabling this behavior no matter what. I
Yeah.
think that uh, when you have heavy rulings for things like Calvin Ridley, who was suspended for betting on his own team for an entire season, I don't agree with gambling on your own teams in professional sports, whether for good or bad. But to suspend him for an entire season for that, and only come down in 6 games originally from like I said, the independent investigation only had so much to work off with. So I don't really blame them there as much, but it never should have came to that. It
Hmm.
should have been they had everything they needed. He should have been suspended from a season to begin with. And this is what the Browns were prepared for. This was honestly probably next to him not getting anything at all. This is probably the next best situation for them. Is that he's only going to be gone for a third of the season, and likely, and the NFLPA, the Players Association, them any sort of appealing they'll do is unfortunately what their job as a union is forced to do,
Hmm.
whether right or wrong. That's their job. So I can't really judge them there. But I do think that negotiations in the future CBA is going to be very, very interesting. And because there's obviously the NFL and their identity when it comes to things like this is not good at all. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. Fuck the Browns. Fuck Deshaun Watson. I hope he never plays another game in the NFL again.
Yeah. No, I mean, totally agree. He's obviously like you said, a predator, someone who like it would be hard. It would be incredibly difficult. Okay, so obviously as a Dolphins fan, there were rumors for like a year that the Dolphins were going to try to get Deshaun Watson. Um, and like at first, I was like, "Oh, that's great. He's a really good quarterback." Then all this started to come out, and I had to like really kind of think about like, would I be able to root for the Dolphins, the team that I love? Like, I love football more than any other sport. It's like, a borderline obsession. We have Wicked Good Sports. I cover the Dolphins on there. I don't think I could have, in good conscience, rooted for the Dolphins with Deshaun Watson. Like any success they would have had would have been severely tainted by his presence and his role in the success. And also, I have made fun of far too many Steelers fans over the years, quite frankly, to be able to root for a team with Deshaun Watson. So
Mm-hmm.
it's disappointing. I mean, I don't see why. I honestly was expecting him to be suspended for the entire season. Maybe he still will be. The NFL is appealing. I doubt it though, because that just seems to be how things work. It's pretty insane that someone, because they're so good at football, can do heinous acts and get like a $230 million guaranteed contract and go to a good team and potentially win the Super Bowl. It's all it's not good. It's not a good feeling.
It's also tough when it comes to massage parlors for a Patriots fan like myself, to kind of go down that path. Obviously, with
Mm-hmm.
everything with Robert Kraft, I do think it's very different though. Different but the same, but different. So
Yeah.
I don't wish to approach that. But yeah, Deshaun Watson, he's a piece of shit. He tried to shoot his way out of the time in the Texans, which is crazy. Even as he was facing allegations like this. It was crazy that he was trying to leverage his own position for the Texans to trade him.
Mm-hmm.
Shame on the Texans, who also kind of enabled this and knew that this was going on. Uh,
Oh, 100%. They
just
knew.
overall, just bad. I wish this guy nothing but failure
Mm-hmm.
in his future. Like I said, it's a shame too. I loved him coming out of college. I thought he was very, very good. I thought that he was going to be good in the NFL. I didn't think he was going to be as good as he turned out to be in his first season. But I think that's another frustrating part too. Like I said, it was a young guy, very, very promising future, making a bunch of money.
Mm-hmm.
Did not need to do this, but
No.
he like when you're a sociopath and you have predator like behavior like he does, he feels the need to do this, and it will probably only get worse behind the scenes as his
Yeah, considering he faced pretty much no uh, punishment and got $230 million, I can't imagine he's going to be to incentivize to change his behavior. I don't think someone who does this just stops doing it, right?
No, and I think it's unfortunately there's a lot of quote unquote victim blaming too for the people that are taking the money. I mean, even you don't have 25 women come forward and as like one like conspiracy cash grab that doesn't happen.
Right.
I do think that in the age of like the Me Too movement that maybe scenarios like that had happened, but you don't get that with like 25 women. You get that maybe one person here or there taking advantage of a shitty situation they're having other women. It doesn't happen to 25 women. So them taking payouts probably rather than going through the embarrassment or the rest of this is completely understandable. But it's unfortunate because, like you said, you'll probably never see any sort of legal ramifications ever, which is a shame. So that sucks.
Yeah. Hey, at least the Dolphins got fined. Well, not fined. They lost 2 picks for tampering. You know what? That was only probably because Tom Brady was involved in some way. Tom Brady wasn't involved, they probably wouldn't have even penalized the Dolphins. Roger Goodell just hates him so much.
I still stick to my guns that was all a long con by Bill Belichick, and I fully believe that. Of him texting Brian Flores, realizing like behind the scenes, like, hey, wait a minute, they tried to poach Brady back when he was still here. Fuck that.
I believe it.
I don't know how you can't. That's I love it. Football season's back. Outside of the predators and the rapists, we do have football coming back. That is very, very exciting. Hard Knocks starts on the 9th. That's always kind of when I
is it
kick
the
off.
Lions this year?
Lions this year.
Right.
We're recording on Wednesday the 3rd. The Hall of Fame game is tomorrow. Very first game of the season. That is the Jaguars and the is it the Rams? Jaguars and someone. It's the Jaguars and someone. So that's tomorrow. That's exciting. So that's the first live football game of the season. So that's kind of
Jaguars and Raiders.
Yeah. So that's cool. I doubt we'll see Devontae Adams play. I feel like most of the time the first game we don't typically see that. Maybe for a series.
We will see Trevor Lawrence play 1 series, and that'll be it. And
yeah, I'm excited. Football's back. I'm also I'm ready for summer to be over. I know it's only August 3rd, but I'm very much a fall person now in my old age. So can't wait for football to be back. We'll have more positive stories. But make sure you listen to Wicked Good Sports to hear all that.
So it's been a decent week over on that channel. The Dolphins, my first Miami Minute I did of the season, got a decent amount of views for how we do. Not killing it in terms of overall YouTube, but good for that. And I hope to grow that channel. Just like I hope to grow this one. 3 more subscribers to 100. We can get that custom URL. So if you're listening, please subscribe.
We've been at like 3 or 4 for like fucking 3 months. Someone just make fake account and subscribe.
Yeah, just make 3 fake accounts. Fuck it, just do it, please.
Even if there's no one listening to this, someone like project this out in the universe. So like 3 people subscribe it. Yeah, I just enjoyed talking to you, friend. Even if we're just talking into the void.
Same here.
That's all life really is, right? No one's really listening in the end. And some positive news with something I'm actually very, very excited for, which used to be a very grim topic. So first off, I will say Game of Thrones on HBO Max is something that we're going to be going into after this. On HBO Max, they just released the entire series of Game of Thrones in 4K, in Dolby Vision, and in Dolby Atmos for sound. It looks and sounds unbelievable. So against my own will, I am rewatching it. So that is, I'll keep you updated on that. I've only gone through the first episode. I need to pace myself and kind of so I just don't get hurt again. But the early reviews for House of the Dragon have come out for the pilot. And they are universally very, very good. So the the pilot episode of House of the Dragon, which comes out, I believe, August 12th, was released for critics, and the reviews are very, very good. So here's one tweet from Brandon Katz. at the Great Catsby. The House of the Dragon pilot is very efficiently explains its context in relation to Game of Thrones, introduces its core characters, and lays out the central conflict of the series. It's an easy to follow premiere with vibrant colors and detailed texture. Absolutely a worthy successor so far. Another tweet from Collider Frosty, Stephen Weintraub. I did not like the last season of Game of Thrones at all, but I'll admit that nor did anybody. I've never seen anybody say that they liked the last season of Game of Thrones. That's the other crazy part. And like, I'm not going to go into Game of Thrones again. I have never heard anybody say they actually liked the last season of Game of Thrones. That's how bad it was. We don't need to touch on that.
Yeah.
That's just.
I'll say I liked the second episode a lot. The before
The build up to the battle.
yeah, I thought that I was like, wow, this is so great. The rest of the season is probably going to just be nonstop action and be so sick, and then I did not enjoy it very much.
Nope. But I'll admit the series premiere of House of the Dragon is very well done, and I'll definitely continue watching. After the episode ended, they showed an extended preview of the season, and it looks very cool. They showed obviously bad radio. They show some images. So my understanding too.
Bad radio is our Wario here at Better Radio.
Yeah. For those curious about the series, without spoilers, I can say that one thing I really dig is the fact that it still feels epic in scale and scope, while telling a very personal and intimate story about one family, showcasing both their love and dysfunction. One thing I think I pieced together is that the actual opener of the show is the same theme song that was Game of Thrones, just with a different visual opening.
Mm-hmm.
Don't bet the house on that, but that's my understanding based on some of the leaked like tweets. And I say leaked, I mean by people that may or may not have anything to do with it, or maybe they're not supposed to talk about it. I don't know.
I kind of like that. It's kind of like Star Wars, you know. It's like you have this piece of music that's so great and so epic. Like how would you top that?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly. From the Adam Chode. Wow, violent, shocking, epic, better than Game of Thrones and Breaking Bad. I'm assuming he means by like the pilot episode. I think that's what he means.
He's like, by the way, fuck Breaking Bad.
I think that's what he means, because Breaking Bad notoriously has like a very, very good pilot.
Yeah.
For like any screenwriters, people like behind the scenes stuff. I think like the Breaking Bad pilot is like regarded as one of the best TV like pilots ever in terms of writing. HBO does it again. This isn't just another fantasy show. It's the best series ever made. Okay, maybe he is exaggerating the Adam Chode, so never mind. Great action and music too, a fitting end setting up what's next. Okay, so I'm actually taking that entire tweet with a grain of salt, so never mind. I didn't know how much I missed the Game of Thrones theme song until I heard it tonight at the House of the Dragon premiere. That first episode is fantastic, and I can't wait to see what's next. Most of these pretty much just rehash the same thing. But that's my big takeaway, is that it's being universal. A lot of people are saying it's awesome, which is great, because I feel like if it was bad, then that would really be bad. But I'm like already more excited for this than I am the Lord of the Rings series. Which is saying a lot, and especially they bring back that opening song, the theme song for the opener, and just do a different title scroll. Because they can't really do the kingdom showing who's what where, because it's just gonna be Targaryen.
It's very different, yeah.
Yeah, I'm really excited, and we're what less than 2 weeks away, a week from this upcoming Sunday. So that's that's very exciting. I can't wait.
Yeah, I really enjoy most of Game of Thrones. Obviously, I thought when Game of Thrones was in its like peak, it was some of the best television ever made, and I am hopeful that this will be good. I mean, they released like not like a trailer, but like a trailer / behind the scenes thing on HBO and on YouTube, and it was pretty much just like, listen, we know how you feel about Game of Thrones. We promise the people making this show give a shit.
Yep.
We promise. And it hyped me up. I'm so ready.
Yeah, same here. I can't wait. Miguel Sapochnik is one of the showrunners who was one of the better. I think we talked about this already on the show. He was one of the better directors in Game of Thrones. Obviously, all different writers. George R. R. Martin's a little more involved, and they have. I think you said this last time. They have the whole story laid out. They
Hmm.
have it. It's already written.
And
They
it's a
don't have
good
to rewrite
story.
the ending. It
It
is. It's
should be
very good.
fun. Should be really fun to see. Like, I'm ready to go back to Westeros. Let's fucking do
Same.
this.
Yep. So next,
Now some
actually,
bad news.
actually next, next time we record though, will actually be after the premiere.
Oh, all right. Hell yeah.
So next we're doing every 2 weeks now. Next time we record, we'll be talking about the show. So that's exciting. Yeah. Yeah. All right. On to our main topic today, which is the mess that is Warner Brothers, HBO, and Discovery. So obviously, we're recording this on Wednesday the 3rd. By the time that we probably release this podcast, more of this story is going to come out because tomorrow on the 4th, Warner Brothers and Discovery. So those no Warner Brothers and Discovery merged, I believe, like 3 months ago. And it was the picture was very bleak on how this would look. Now we're seeing how this would look. So they have their earnings call tomorrow. So we'll get a better idea of what's going on here. But so let's kind of like go down. So yesterday, it was announced that the Batgirl movie, which was set to release. I actually don't know when it was set to release. I think it was supposed to come at the end of this year. I believe Leslie Grace was the star of was Batman. Yeah, Leslie Grace from In the Heights. She was set to star in this film, along with Michael Keaton returning as Batman, J.K. Simmons playing her father and Commissioner Gordon. J.K. Simmons has maybe a total of like 2 minutes of screen time as Commissioner Gordon, even though he was cast as him
Even
probably
though he
about like
got
6-7
so
years ago.
jacked for no reason.
Unbelievable picture if you look it up on the internet. Yeah, as well as Brendan Fraser as Firefly. So it was the cast alone was set up to be unbelievable, and then it was announced yesterday that they were completely scrapping this movie, which was already done filming, was in the final stages of post production. The budget was originally 75 million, grew into 90 million, and they are just deciding to scrap it, so it's not worth it. When we found this out, it was originally before we found out everything that's going on with Warner Brothers, which is apparently a mess that we'll get into after this. So they announced that they're completely, they will not release this movie on HBO Max or in the theaters. They will not release it at all, period. As well as the Scooby-Doo Christmas movie that they also had planned. Scoob, it was Scoob the sequel. Which, by the way, Scoob, the original Scoob was horrible. So whatever there, but
deal,
still,
I guess. Yeah.
that was another movie that was basically complete. People had been working on it, for 2 years in a COVID setting. Not great. So I'm going to quickly read this article from Variety, and we'll get your thoughts. Brian. So this kind of gives a pretty good rundown. The death of Batgirl on Tuesday sent immediate shockwaves through Hollywood. The film, with a $75 million budget that grew into a $90 million one due to COVID-related overages, had finished shooting months ago and was in test screenings as directors Adil El Arbi and Bilal Falah. Excuse their pronunciations, who did Bad Boys for Life and Mrs. Marvel, worked through post-production processes. Star Leslie Grace, we just went through over expressing her enthusiasm. By the way, I think my heart probably breaks the most for her.
Oh yeah, that sucks.
Being an African American woman taking on the role of Batgirl, not an A-list role, but still something that is well known for comic book fans. Batgirl, Barbara Gordon. So that sucks. It sucks for her. I feel really bad skipping through in the article. In other words, the movie was nearly finished and it was already building awareness among fans. So why would Warner Brothers Discovery throw this all away? According to sources with knowledge of the situation, the most likely reason is taxes. Several sources note that Batgirl was made under a different regime at Warner Brothers, headed by Jason Kilar and Ann Sarnoff, that was singularly focused on building its streaming service, HBO Max. That because originally this movie was set to be an HBO Max exclusive release, was not going to release in theaters, and then there was rumors that it was going to after. Anyway, I'll continue the story. That effort concluded Kilar's infamous decision to release the studio's entire 2021 theatrical slate simultaneously on the streamer, which helped build the subscriber base, but also jeopardized the studio's reputation with top-tier talent. Though many agents and stars privately came to appreciate the move, and the company paid generous bonuses as a make nice. Probably the most infamous departure through that was Christopher Nolan.
Mm.
leaving Warner Brothers, who's been working with for 10, 15 plus years. He is over, I think that it's Universal that
It
Oppenheimer
is.
is
Yep.
coming out on.
Yep.
So that's a very, very big talent. Kind of like as a consumer,
Yeah. Very weird to see the Universal logo before his company's logo. Like, I
yeah.
guess my brain just like completely associated it with Warner Brothers. So strange.
Yep. As a consumer, the direct releases to HBO Max were awesome, but also
Mm.
as a movie theater lover and obviously as a studio, I can see how maybe that wasn't the best look. But I mean, as a consumer, which I am first,
Right.
it was worked out good for me because there was a lot of bad movies that came out during
There's
that.
also Dune. That was pretty sick.
Dune, and I think, excuse me, it also set up a precedent to of movies being able to be released onto these platforms once their 45-day
Mm.
window in movie theaters were up. So that's great because I feel like that's the new norm now is that we're not waiting 4 or 5 months to get these on streaming or a year. Like the Batman came out in March and was on streaming like mid April, like exactly after its 45
Mm.
days.
Which
So
was awesome.
yep,
That
amazing.
movie is so sick.
I love it more and more each time I watch it. As we'll get into after this, the rest of the DC I do not feel the same about. Even before David Zaslav, who took the reins of the newly formed Warner Brothers Discovery as CEO this spring, the exec went on a well-publicized listening tour designed to repair the company's relationship with the creative community. As part of that effort, Zaslav, that's how I'm going to pronounce it from now on, has made no secret of reversing Killar's strategy and committing to releasing first-run feature films in theaters before putting them on HBO Max, which is a move I do agree with in the sense that movies like Dune and Batman need to be in theaters first before
Mm.
anything else. Other shitty movies, like that awful Remy Malek, Denzel Washington, Jared Leto one. I
I
forgot what
never
it's
ended up
called.
seeing that, but I know what
It
you're
was
talking
so
about.
bad. I
Yeah.
would have been pissed if I would have saw it in the theaters because that was one that would be like fringe of me seeing in the theaters and it was horrible.
It's that
Um,
AMC A list. Like, might as well go
exactly.
check it
Yep.
out.
Which now I'm no longer an AMC A-list subscriber, but only just because I don't live near one anymore.
Yeah,
But
me neither.
Showcase has a pretty decent deal. I get like two
Yeah,
movies a
the
month.
Star Pass or
Yeah, I get
yeah.
two movies a month for like $14, so it's still worth it.
I want
Not as
I
not as
I have not used mine in years. I wonder if my account still works with that.
I kept it on like me thinking like I was single handedly saving AMC.
Mm,
When I originally had A list, and I finally recently deleted. I'm like, I'm never driving out to AMC
yeah.
again. That's just depressing because I love that theater.
Me
Um,
too, man. Me too. That was a
uh,
great
it
theater.
was. Uh, Anyways, Batgirl found itself on the bad end of that decision, apparently neither big enough to feel worthy of a major theatrical release nor small enough to make economic sense in an increasingly cutthroat streaming landscape, which is absurd. There is no such thing as a too small movie to just release on streaming. Even if you don't promote it, it takes literally no fucking effort. I don't know, like whatever
Right.
the behind the costings of getting it uploaded and like the maintaining like IT side to making sure the movie stays up there. But that's an absurd sentence. Spending the money to expand the scope of Batgirl for theaters, plus the 30 million to 50 million needed to market it domestically, and the tens of millions more needed for a global rollout, could have nearly doubled. You don't need that if you just put it on HBO Max. Could have nearly doubled the spending on the film, and insiders say that was a non-starter at a company newly focused on belt tightening and the bottom line. So this is where things start to shape out that now things are being strictly made on a money decision, not necessarily a creative decision, because there is an alternative narrative to this: is that the movie was scrapped because it was so bad, which is something that I absolutely refuse to believe. That this movie was so bad from a studio that released the original Justice League, that released the original Suicide Squad, that released Wonder Woman 2, that the movie was so bad that they couldn't release it. So that narrative is out there is fucking ridiculous. And it's just crazy to me that a movie that has J.K. Simmons, that has Brendan Fraser, that has Michael Keaton back as Batman, was so bad to the point that they couldn't release it. That's crazy. That's something that I absolutely refuse to believe, but is the narrative that is kind of spun out there. But to HBO Max's credit, they're saying that's not the case. We love the directors. We love Leslie Grace's Batgirl. We just need to look for a different scope. But the movie's done. So why not release? Just put the movie on HBO Max. We're going to get into why that's not happening after this, after we finish the story. Um, uh, Doing so, however, will mean that Warner Brothers cannot monetize either movie. No HBO Max debut. No sale to another studio. Um,
That's so
what the
insane.
decision will cost the studio and creative capital, meanwhile, remains to be seen. So, not included in this article is something that I was reading yesterday on Twitter. So, once again, take it with a grain of salt. And I don't know why it's not included in the article, because they said it in the beginning that this was based around tax, and we're like missing the whole part about tax. So basically, what happens is that if Warner Brothers takes the tax write off for this movie, basically the movie is where it legally like cannot be released anywhere. So that is another part of the issue, that they're literally saying that we, instead of just spending the money, we're going to take the write off and get like some of our losses back, even though it's going to be a net loss altogether. That is what happened. As I said earlier, the whole narrative that this movie was so bad and that it tested so bad that they could not release it is insane. It's insulting to the people that were working on it. It's an overall ridiculous fucking whole ordeal. It goes back to everything that I've talked about before with DC. It's a joke, because and on the other side too, if the movie was that bad, then it just furthers the how much of a shit show the DCEU actually is. And I think that that's probably the most another upsetting part about all these stories coming out. It's that it's not even like they're trying to bank around the DCEU being like their marquee franchise that they can build around and make a shitload of money off, like Disney has with Marvel. They're basically saying that, like, no, we need to start breaking down budget even more instead of spending it on these movies. Like, they're now worried about, like, saving money, because it also was released today that we'll get into the next article that HBO Max is laying off 70% of its employees. So it's all very, very bad. I'm kind of at the point too where I was looking for the Batgirl. I wasn't looking forward to it like it was an A-list movie, like I said earlier, but it was something that I was very intrigued by, because one, you had J.K. Simmons back as Commissioner Gordon, which we didn't really get a whole lot of at all in the Justice League movie, as well as getting Michael fucking Keaton back as Batman. That's still a big deal, even though he's in like another thing I got into that I read right before I went into this tangent too, is that Michael Keaton actually filmed the scene for the Aquaman Lost in the Kingdom movie, but audience found it confusing, which is why Ben Affleck has returned to replace Michael Keaton in the reshoots. Another just complete shit show move by the DCEU. I have no interest seeing Aquaman, The Flash, even though The Flash is apparently a good movie. I've reached like my end with the unless it's Batman, unless it's the Robert Pattinson Batman. I think I'm officially I'm out. I think I'm out. I'm folding in. I'm taking my chips and I'm leaving. I think I'm just done, because this is crazy that we're still, even though we're getting to the business side of a shit show Warner Brothers is, which ties into DC. It's just crazy how bad this all is. It's wild.
Yeah. So obviously, Michael Keaton was supposed to return as his, old Batman in the Flash movie. The Flash movie, who knows if that's ever going to come out at this point. And that's why his cameo is confusing in Aquaman, because it wasn't set up in the Flash like it was supposed to be. So yeah, we may never get Michael Keaton in Batman again, even though this is like supposed to be a planned thing over several different movies, whatever. But hey, Dylan, so March 1st, 2018. On the main channel, We Could Get Everything, where we used to do Fake Nerds updates, and I hope one day we will do more Fake Nerds updates. We did a video titled, "Will we ever get a Batgirl movie?" And the answer now, 4 years later, is no, probably not. At that time, it said, unfortunately, Joss Whedon's out of the Batgirl project. That didn't age great after this, but we said, is out of this project that may or may not ever come out. How did we know back then that this is still going to be controversial. This is just so unfortunate. I it's tough because I my first like comic book heroes that I really liked were, the Justice League, were the DC heroes. I am very partial to the DC universe, but like you said, it just they fucked it all up. They need to, I guess they're just gonna burn it all down and start from scratch, try to do like what Marvel did way back in the day. Peacemaker's really good. I hope Peacemaker doesn't get canceled on HBO Max. Our Flag Means Death is, I think, the best comedy that's come out in the last few years. I
I
really,
also
really
think
enjoyed that.
that's one of the ones that will be dead as a result of
Such a
what we'll get into
joke.
next.
Sucks so much. A lot of the other HBO Max exclusives I didn't watch. I was kind of going through trying to figure out like Winning Time. Love that. That's HBO proper. Barry's HBO proper. Westworld's HBO proper. But there are a lot
House of the
of like
Dragon.
House of the Dragon, of course. So those probably won't go away. But like, so I love reality television.
Mm-hmm.
I'm one of like the biggest advocates for it, as taking it seriously as a genre. A lot of the Discovery reality TV shows are not very good. They hit it out of the park with like Deadliest Catch, of course, very early, and then they just kind of like kept going down. Like, what other weird jobs can we find? What other weird things? And it's just like it sucks that someone who like was a part of making the Discovery Channel significantly worse is now the one making calls for media properties that are so much better than anything Discovery Channel has ever made. I saw a comedian tweeted that if they cancel one of the shows he will personally kill every shark so there can't be another Shark Week, which is very funny. Don't kill sharks, obviously. Shark Week is fun, but ooh, what a mess. I feel terrible for everyone involved in Batgirl. And I heard one of the directors found out at his own wedding that his movie
Yeah,
was getting
I
canceled.
saw
That
that as well. Yes.
sucks. So hearts out to all of them. I just hate this. I will find out tomorrow, like you said, what the plan is. But like sure, Discovery was the more profitable company. They bought it from AT&T. They got HBO, Warner Brothers, all that. But the HBO brand is so strong, in my opinion, and the Discovery Channel brand is awful. No one takes it seriously. So if you're gonna like rebrand everything in the HBO umbrella under Discovery, I think that's just gonna hurt in the long run. Period.
I think that's what's not clear either, because I guess like it's Warner Brothers Discovery, so it's not even like it's HBO Discovery; it's Warner Brothers
Yeah.
Discovery. And like we were talking about earlier before we started, like Warner Brothers, our Discovery has like the Food Network. It gets like the actual Discovery Channel stuff. Obviously like the ID channel for some like true crime stuff. So I don't mind it. It's like $5 a month. I actually think I get it for free through Verizon. Yeah, but I agree. The actual like brand marketing to flip over to base around that, no bueno. To double back to what you were saying earlier, though, I think that the Flash movie 120% gets released. I think it's just a matter of when, especially because, like I said, I'm out. I actually really like Ben Affleck as Batman. I wish he got his chance, but I'm now fully on Team Pattinson. I have no interest in like that Justice League universe now. It's just it's just ridiculous. But it does not stop there at the DCEU, and I genuinely don't even want to waste breath talking about the DCEU anymore, because until they like finally go on like one single year streak of having good movies, I refuse to just waste my time with them.
Yeah. I mean, they had the chance with Christopher Nolan's Batman franchise to be like, okay, the Marvel Cinematic Universe is obviously great, but we're trying to make more prestigious superhero films, And then they did not do that, and they just spent the last like 15 years completely floundering with anything that isn't Batman. I liked Man of Steel well enough. I liked Aquaman well enough. I liked the first Wonder Woman well enough. But really, it's just yeah,
That's a
just
that's another thing. How bad is it that your franchise star Henry Cavill does
mm,
not want to return in probably one of the more iconic roles in pop culture in Superman? Dude
yeah.
said no, no thanks. You guys are such a shit show. Like no, thank you. Good
Mm.
for him because
He's like, I have a great thing happening with The Witchers. I'm gonna focus on that. And
especially because his star has grown so much since he was in Man of Steel and Justice
mm,
League too. I really hope he gets James Bond and just leaves Superman in the dust. Fuck
that'd be fun. I
that.
like him as James Bond. I also think Rob Stark would be cool as James Bond. Someone pitched that
Yeah,
out, and I was like, yeah, I'm into that.
he's very good in that Bodyguard show.
Yeah, that's what
Uh,
I heard. I gotta check that out.
like I said, the story does not end there because then we get into the actual future of HBO Max, which is the story that came out today. So not only is the Batgirl dead in the water, apparently HBO Max is dead in the water as
Yeah,
well. My my favorite streaming service
mine too.
that
Yeah,
has an unbelievable library. Like some of the HBO Max originals. So there is a difference between regular HBO Max and regular HBO and HBO Max. HBO Max is the streaming strictly service. So like if it's an HBO Max original, you will not be able to see it on like the regular HBO library. But here is a story today from Yahoo Finance. Warner Brothers Discovery expects to slash jobs and restructure HBO Max as earnings loom. Warner Brothers Discovery has a lot of questions to answer ahead of its earnings report on Thursday. 3-month-old streaming conglomerate, and 3-month-old streaming, they mean the HBO, the Warner Brothers Discovery, when they merged 3 months ago, which is set to report its first quarterly earnings since the $43 billion merger, plans to lay off 70% of its developmental business, according to the Wrap, which cited multiple insiders. The news has fueled speculation when it comes to the future of HBO Max, with sources telling the Wrap that CEO David Zaslav, known for his cost-cutting leadership style, will announce a major restructuring to both HBO Max and Discovery Plus, either during the earnings result or soon after. And very important to note, they have already started to pull HBO Max original movies. They pulled the Pickle thing, the horrible, terrible movie with Seth
American
Rogen.
Pickle. Yeah,
American Pickle. That movie was awful. They pulled The Witches with Anne Hathaway. I didn't see it, but they pulled that. So they're already starting to remove things in their library suddenly. So watch. This flag means death as quickly as you can. Um, the outlet explained that the move will result in gutting of HBO Max, significant layoffs for its executives and staff to minimize redundancies with HBO and combining streaming services with Discovery Plus. There's also a harder line between scripted and non-scripted content. The source claims. Stock was up 4.5% when the market closed on Wednesday, but was relatively flat in after-hours trading. Earlier on Wednesday, the studio confirmed that two films slated for an HBO Max release, Batgirl and Scooby-Doo Holiday Haunt, have been pulled, as we just talked about. Warner Brothers did not immediately respond to Yahoo Finance's request for comment on the layoff reports or its decision to pull those two movies, but did provide a statement to CNN, which it owns. The decision to not release the Batgirl reflects our leadership's strategic shift as it relates to the DC Universe and HBO Max. Leslie Grace is an incredibly talented actor, and this decision is not a reflection of her performance. The statement continued that we are incredibly grateful to the filmmakers of The Batgirl and Scoob Holiday Hunt and their respective casts. We hope to collaborate with everyone again in the near future. That's why I stop it with the movie was so bad they wouldn't release it. I refuse to believe that it should be being released. Anyway, DC Comics film was nearly complete and cost the studio $70 million. We already talked about it. The news came as the company looks to improve profitability and reallocate costs. Warner Brothers Discovery previously said it expects to slash $3 billion worth of costs over the next 2 years and distribute those savings into streaming content. At the time, questions swirled over those funds might come from. This could be the start of that endeavor. I do know that I liked something on Twitter right before we got on. I don't remember what it was, but it was in relation to this. Ooh. So, hold on. What did I just see?
yeah. Well, don't look that up. I'll say as we said, Our Flag Means Death, amazing. Peacemaker, I would say better than any of the Marvel TV shows, honestly. I think that show was really fun, very funny, had a lot of, like, a surprising amount of heart for, like, what it was, and I am so looking forward to the second season. James Gunn said that it's still happening, but of course that can change at any moment, because we certainly didn't think that the Batgirl would just get outright canceled or anything. And I do wonder if, like, talent is kind of side high. I guess at the end of the day, money
So
will change whatever. But I wonder if this affects talent wanting to work with
I think
Warner
it
Brothers going
100%
forward.
will. I will say Culture Crave, which I think is a very good follow on Twitter, did release that Batgirl test audience reportedly thought the film was like a bad episode of TV. So that's
Yikes!
not good.
That's not nice.
That's not good.
No.
So uh, I still refuse to believe that it was so bad you couldn't release it.
Mhm.
I don't know, but if it was as bad as a bad episode of TV, I don't know. So I guess I'll walk it back a little bit. Then
Yeah.
I will say I still find it so hard to believe that it
Yeah.
was so bad you couldn't just release it on streaming. But the
Yeah.
thing I was
Agreed.
looking for is, let's see, blah, 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 blah,
They
blah,
couldn't
blah,
even
blah,
like sell
blah.
it to Netflix. Like, Jesus Christ.
Yeah. So the thing I like was actually the wedding thing you brought up, that they found out while they were at Adil El Arbi's wedding.
That's
So
good.
that's
Just tarnish that memory for his entire life. Good stuff.
um. So yeah, we'll find out more tomorrow. Um, the Batgirl that really sucks. The DCEU that sucks, but we're used to that. But I am the future of HBO Max. I really hope that not much changes, but it sounds like a lot's changing. So
Yep.
that's really unfortunate, especially because it's like $15-20 a month. So we'll obviously follow that. Like I said, we'll know a lot more when we talk again in 2 weeks. We'll have the House of the Dragon premiere. So that's that story. That fucking blows.
Yep.
Do you have anything else before we get to our wiki roulette?
Um. No, like I said, I mean, maybe you can tweet. I'm especially worried about Our Flag Means Death being canceled. So maybe, like, you can tweet and be like, hey, this is a great show. Please don't cancel it. Because it took forever for it to be renewed. And it just got renewed like a month ago officially. And now I'm worried that they're just going to be like, nah, it's fine.
It seems like a show that would be on the fringe of canceled or not canceled, because
Agreed.
I think people that watched it liked it, but I don't think there was a lot of people watching it.
Mm.
Unfortunately, and which sucks because I'm a sucker for really good pirate stuff. You want to watch good pirate movie though? Watch Sea Beast on Netflix. Unbelievable.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
An
yeah.
animated movie. Very very well done.
Cool. Yeah, I'll check that out.
So our wiki roulette today, I will say I had to
Let's go.
scramble the wiki roulette a few times, and I found something that was even remotely talkable. We were talking about the Vincent Gray Flash today. You know what a Vincent Gray Flash is?
No.
It is a motorcycle.
Oh, okay.
The Vincent Gray Flash is a British motorcycle that was made between 1949 and 1952 by Vincent Motorcycles, and it was advertised as by Black Lightning out of Comet. That is literally how the sentence says, by Black Lightning out of Comet. This 500cc single racer is very rare, as only 31 were produced.
Oh, all right.
Vincent's had a close association with motorcycle racing, and the Phil Irving design Vincent Comet provided the basis for the Series C. This is all motorcycle talks. If you're a motorcycle fan, great. I'm not. I'm not. I'm not anti motorcycles. I'm not like I'm a gearhead. The Series C 49cc Gray Flash Racer, tuned and stripped down to 330 pounds as a 500cc version of the 1000cc Vincent Black Lightning. Everyone knows what that means. The new quote unquote Flash was capable of 150 miles per hour with a power output of 335 bhp or 6200 rpm.
Okay.
Prototypes were raced in the late 1949, and the last model was produced in 1952.
Oh, okay, so this is like a long ass time ago. Gotcha.
Yes, only 31 produced. The small numbers produced mean that there were plenty of variation of the specification. Early models were finished with chrome on the fuel tank and lower fork link, but towards the but towards the end of production in 1952, this was replaced by gray paint. This, as well as the Berman BAR gearbox. Vincent also experimented with the AJS 7R gearboxes, but used Albion gearbox. No one's listening anymore. Used Albion gearboxes for the most machines produced. The variants include the Gray Flash, which was produced in racing, dual purpose, and road models, as well as show models and a number of TT specials. There is a debate among the number of Vincent Gray Flash motorcycles produced, as although the official register lists 31, several are known to have been built. I don't know what they mean by that.
I don't know what that means either. It's like there's actually only 7. We figured that this was enough. No one was really buying the 7 we made, so we planned on 31, but even that was an overshot.
I have to imagine the Vincent Gray Flash Wikipedia page is not something that's frequently like updated or edited. Right. So, yeah.
Is there a controversy section? I always like controversy sections on Wikipedia.
I don't think so, but
disappointing.
Hold on, we don't have much longer left.
Okay.
Many of the surviving Gray Flash motorcycles have been raced and modified to meet changing racing regulations, or have been restored using the higher specification of the special show and the TT machines for reference. So correct examples are very rare. Sure. When he was 16, world champion racer John Surtees was an apprentice of the Vincent factory. He made his first headline in 1951 when he gave Norton star Jeff Duke a strong challenge in an ACU race to Thruxton Circuit. Everyone knows about that. In 1952, John Surtees set up a new lap record for his first outing of the season at Brands Hatch, and throughout the early 1950s was virtually unbeatable in his Vincent Gray Flash racer. There we go. Good for John Surtees. We've reached the end. The National Motorcycle Museum in the UK has a fully restored Vincent Gray Flash, which features a special large capacity fuel tank designed for the Isle of Man TT, which Vincent contested with 4 special Gray Flashes in 1950. Of course. Yes. That's it. No controversy.
Yeah, I think that's disappointing that there's no controversy, but I think it's interesting to think of what racing a motorcycle back then was probably like compared to now. I don't know if you've ever watched like motorcycle racing today. Absolutely insane sport. Probably the most insane sport. These people are going like 300 miles per hour. They're like leaning like this far away from the pavement at that speed to get like the most optimal turning. So I guess, this was just a precursor to the insane bikes that are driven today.
I will say I do have one very, very quick, slightly more interesting Wikipedia roulette. I think I'll vet these a little more instead of just going in real raw. I think the roulette needs a little more priming.
Sure. Yeah.
So real quick, our other Wikipedia roulette for today is William McCauley, an American football player. William Lloyd Jerry McCauley, born in 1871, was an American football player and coach. He was the 3rd head coach of the University of Michigan football team.
Oh, wow. Okay.
McCauley was born in approximately 1971 and listed his home as Stanley, New York.
Yeah.
He attended preparatory school.
1871, right?
1871, thank you.
Yeah. Right.
He later attended Princeton University, where he played for the Princeton Tigers football team in 1892 and in 1893 as a tackle, a left end, and a halfback. He was 6 feet tall and 175 pounds while playing football at Princeton.
That's so awesome that someone could be that body type and be like a professional football player or like a college football player.
McCauley later enrolled at the University of Michigan as a medical student, and while at Michigan, he served as the head football coach of the 1994 and 1995 Michigan Wolverines. So at the age of 23 and 24, he was the head coach of the Wolverines.
Just between fucking school classes, he's like, all right, guys, we got to beat the shit out of Ohio State. So that's important.
And get this, he compiled a coaching record of 17-2-1. And his .875 winning percentage remains the 2nd highest in the program's history. McCauley was a medical student at Michigan while he served as the coach of the football team. And in 2 of his seasons as head coach, the Wolverines lost only 2 games, once to Cornell and once to Harvard. In 1894, the Wolverines defeated Cornell 12-4, and for the first time that a Western, and quote unquote, Western school had beaten one of the established Eastern football powers. And he also served as the assistant coach. How do you go to assistant coach after a 17-2 record as assistant coach for the 1896 Michigan football team?
He's like, I'm a doctor now. I can't focus that much on the team, so I guess I'll be assistant coach.
After leaving Michigan, McCauley was a student at the medical department of the University of Pennsylvania. And then, unfortunately, in March of 1989, he died of heart disease at his home in Rochester, New York. So at the age of 26, after a successful career of coaching and medical school, at the age of 26, he died of heart disease.
Wait, so hold on. He died in 1889.
1898.
1990. Okay. So I thought you said 1989. I was like, he was 118? Like, what?
No, sorry. I know I fucked it up. I kept saying 19. Yeah, 1898. He was only 26 years old.
That's
died of heart
really
disease.
sad. Jesus Christ. Things were a lot different back then. A 26-year-old dying of heart disease, not that common, I feel like, back then. Also, he lived such a full life.
Yeah.
He was only 26. He did so much more than I have in my life.
I was going to say, yeah. Different days when a 26-year-old with a 17-2 coaching record for Michigan dies of heart disease. Yeah, that's tough. So that's the ballad of William McCauley, and that's a positive end to our show.
I think so. Maybe I should not watch as much Netflix as I do. He accomplished so much back then when there were no distractions. Now we just have far too much to keep us from fulfilling our potential.
Like I said, next time I'll vet our wiki roulette a little more.
That sounds good. That one was good. I feel like what a wild ride. I can't believe.
Well, now if you're listening, you can throw that out there like, hey, William McCauley. 23 years old, head coach of Michigan, 17-2 record, died heart disease.
Yeah, at 26. If there's a picture of him, he looks like 85 because that's just how I imagine things were. Everyone looked a lot older back in the day. Before sunscreen was invented, everyone aged very, very dramatically.
Much more weathered, yes.
Yeah. So that was good. Anything else before we get on out of here?
Nope, that's it for me. Like I said, next time we come back, we'll have a little more news on HBO Max, and we can talk about House of Dragon, which is very exciting.
Yes, so like we said at the top of the show, please subscribe. Tell your friends to subscribe. Make fake accounts. I don't give a fuck. That's fine. Just get us over 100 subscribers. Follow us on all the various TikToks. I've literally one for shows now, like this show. The Have Not Room has its own. Then we have the Wicked Good Everything, the Wicked Good Sports. Just so much. So much is happening there. If you're not sick of me after this podcast, go to Wicked Good Sports, where we have videos all the time on the 4 major sports. Then I'm also covering Big Brother. The new episode will be out tomorrow on this channel. Other than that, it's been great chatting, as always.
Yeah, it's always fun. If anyone's listening, thank you. If anyone's out there.
Thank you so much. And we'll see you in the next one.